Jody and I dragged our aching feet on the hallway after the whole day searching every corner of this mall. Oh, my legs are toast. I don't think I can walk further than this. Who makes an ad without specifying an official store? I can't believe we've walked to 10 stores and we can't find her. Let's try this last store. If she isn't here, then we get an Uber and go home. We walked into the store holding the last string of hope, and there she was, sitting majestic on the shelf. We ran up to the shelf and Jody, being Jody, started to cry. She's so beautiful! We finally found her! The baby Stella doll collection! We quickly brought Stella to the cashier, then walked out of the store like world champions holding a trophy, knowing everyone was staring at us like we were crazy, as if we care. Hi, I'm Leah, and here's my bestie, Jody. I've known her all my life. We've grown up together in the same neighborhood. As long as Jody and I are together, nothing matters whatever shenanigans we were up to. Today, we just got the perfect doll to complete our doll collection. That was all that mattered. It's not easy to find someone sharing our weird hobbies, right? Jody is the queen bee of everything, and she has always pushed me to be a better version of myself. Like when she became the swim team captain and always encouraged me to join the team, and it turned out that I actually loved swimming. The next day, we came to the pool to see Dee, our team member, doing a perfect backstroke. Good job, Dee. Then he gathered us and announced the upcoming synchronized swimming competition. And naturally, Jody secured one position and the other was also up to her. Sir, that's easy. It's Lee. I know you two are joined at the hip, but it needs more than that. With all due respect, sir, believe me, Lee is perfect for this position. It's a synchronized duet. Who else can you trust to be in sync with me other than my best friend? I was happy that Jody had so much confidence in me, but also anxious. I've never been in any nationals before, but it's a great opportunity, and I never took it for granted. I'm gonna try my best to prove my worth. So, instead of joining Jody's family on a skiing trip, I stayed behind to practice in the town's swimming pool in the summer. One day while resting, I suddenly felt water splash on me. Then I saw the most beautiful boy on earth. He was coming out of the pool, and it felt like the sun was radiating on his skin. I watched him climb up the lifeguard ladder and put on a name tag that read Evan. Okay, it seemed like I got my future husband's name. And now it's time to show what his wife was capable of. Then I showed off my best moves, but he barely looked at me. So I knew just what I needed to do. Help! Help! I'm drowning! Right at that moment, Evan dashed into the pool and rescued me like a brave knight. You saved me! Wow, you're so strong! And you are so pretty. And then he winked at me. Ho ho ho, I guess I drowned again in those eyes. From that day, I started going to the pool every day. Evan always waved at me, but that was all. He never made a move to come near me again. I couldn't fake drowning every day at the pool, so I settled for the friendly waves. Finally, Jody was back from the holiday. So tell me everything about the mystery lifeguard. He was so gorgeous, but I'm not sure about him. He hasn't asked for my number yet. You should have walked up that ladder and said, "Hey, mister, do you like me or not? Because time is running out." That's definitely what you would do. Exactly. Like yesterday, I was at the mall with my mom and I saw a boy, Mark, at the ice cream stand. He was drop-dead gorgeous. I walked straight up to him, took his phone, put my number in it, and told him to call me. And he did that night. Whoa. Would that work with Evan? Only one way to find out. The next day, I mustered my courage and marched straight up to Evan. Hi, Lee, right? Yes. How are you doing? Good. Hey, let's go up the lifeguard's chair. There's shade there. He offered his hand to help me go up there. Actually, I wanted to talk to you sooner, but it's kinda super busy here the past few days. You know. Oh, that's it. I sat next to Evan as he paid close attention to everything happening in the pool. We talked, we laughed, and I even felt his fingers brush over mine. Talking with him was so fun that I forgot the mission today. Ask his number. It's all right. We had loads of time for this. But all that went away when I got to the pool the next day, and he wasn't there for the days after. There was still no sign of him. He came and went just like a fever dream, leaving me aching in a quick fever of first love. Well, his loss. He had all summer to ask you out, and he didn't. Good riddance. Yeah, but I should have just asked him out like you suggested. Come on, forget about him. Now, let's focus on an important issue. My birthday. As always, it's gonna be the biggest event before school resumes. And you know what? Mark's gonna be my escort. Ooh, dreamy Mark is coming. Can't wait to meet him. Just like Jody described, her parents spared no expense. Her party was packed with all friends at school and some of her social circles that I've never seen before. But in the middle of them was, for a second, it felt like I was dreaming, like I'd spent the entire summer dreaming of this face. Evan was here in flesh and blood. I was about to confront him, then, you came! Lee, meet Mark. Mark, it's Lee, my bestie. What? My head was spinning. So Evan was also the Mark guy Jody had been talking about the whole summer? How could it be? When Jody spared herself to other guests, I dragged him to the corner. Evan, what are you doing here after disappearing all this time? And Mark? What's with the name? Actually, my name is Mark. The pool was too cheap to make a new name tag for me, so they made me wear an old one for a former employer. And I just took the lifeguard job in the summer. Things just got a little hectic, so I forgot to tell you. I never planned to hurt a beautiful girl like you. What? No! You don't get to flirt with me anymore! Besties like the same guy. How could it be more typical of dramas? No, sisters first. Jody was with him, so I'd better stay away. That's right, there's no other way. With the decision having been made, I tried to hold my aching heart to sleep. Until the next day at school. I was grabbing things from my locker when someone startled me. Hey, Lee! It's great to see you again. Evan? Mark? Why are you here? I go here now. Now I could swim in your beautiful eyes every day. See you around, gorgeous. That's not good. Lee? What's going on? Why was Mark looking at you like that? Oh, screw. She saw that? That's it. It's better that she heard it from me and not from someone else. I took her to a quiet spot and explained everything to her. The look on her face was not reassuring. So, are you saying that Mark is Evan, the lifeguard? Then let's go to the pool to check. I already told you he doesn't work there anymore. We can ask Mark directly instead. Excuse me? Asking him? Sorry, I'm not like you to ask this kind of question. What does that mean? I just see you're making excuses to steal my boyfriend. Stop being Delulu. What? Talking about Delulu, Mark is not your boyfriend yet. Let's see who can win him. Challenge accepted, bestie. I couldn't believe in my ears. Jody had been thinking of me like that all this time? I came to school the next day to see Jody and her other friends marching in the hall. Mark, let this smile always on your face, 'cause when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. Classic Jody. But flashy things don't shine. Then I approached them and faked being fainted to fall into Mark's embrace. And his gallant caught me before knowing what happened. Oh, you saved me again. How can I pay you back, my love? I could see the fire burning in Jody's eyes. At lunch, I went to the canteen with Mark. I could feel the distance of the time we're away. But it's nice to talk to Mark/Evan again. But Jody, out of nowhere, sat down beside him. Hi, Mark. And Lee? Watch out your food, Mark. Do you know one time she was so hungry that she stole her date's food while he was in the restroom? So, do you know, Judy used to devour the whole turkey on Thanksgiving? She just peed into the pool last week. You know that? Hey, it's just an accident. And you bought your mom's Gucci bag and blamed it on your brother. Not as interesting as you still needing your mom to sing a lullaby every night. Geez, I wish American presidential elections could be as hot as girl fights. Too frustrated, I blurted out every secret we kept together since we were kids, until teachers stopped us. We had to clean every single corner of the pool as punishment. Let me help you, Jody. Thank you, bestie. Yeah, bestie my butt. And just like that, the Third World War continued. The whole school started whistling about the famous friend duo of the school turning to bark at each other. Go ask your queen bee first. One day, Mark came to find me, and we were talking for a while. I'm sorry. I think I need to be held accountable for what is happening between you and Jody. No, it's not your fault. Just some girl stuff, you know? Then from nowhere, Jody stormed in. It's you! You tore up my swimming presentation draft to the coach, right? What gibberish are you talking about? The draft was just right there on this table, but when you came, it disappeared. We found this near your locker. What was it? It's a piece of paper from Jody's draft? I'd never seen it before, let alone tore it. I saw with my own eyes. Don't you dare try to deny it. But I'm with Mark all this time. I can't do this. I just came, so I'm not sure. Enough with your lies. You'll no longer be accepted in our team. Get out! What? You can't. Don't forget I'm your partner in the upcoming competition. Of course I can. I'm the team captain, and Dee will be my partner. Everything was happening so fast. My head was spinning. What's going on? I've never done such things. But Mark? Why didn't Mark defend me when he knew I was innocent? Was everything worth fighting for that guy? Now I felt like I lost everything. My best friend, my swimming spot. When it's already bad, Mom knocked my room with the most terrible news. Hey, what's going on with you and Jody? Nothing. Nothing? So why is she burning your dolls? What? I looked through the window to see her burning our collection. I immediately ran to her house. Jody, no, please. She didn't. She let it all burn. That was it. Our friendship was burnt to ashes like our dolls. A few days later, Jody and Mark became official. Thanksgiving came, but I felt lonelier than ever. Not because Mark chose Jody, but our dying friendship. So I came to the swimming pool in town. While letting myself float on the water, I heard a very familiar voice. Lee, is that you? Oh my god, I hoped I would bump into you here. Don't even speak to me, you devil. Did I do something wrong to you? You ask? You forgot what you've done to me a few days ago? But I was in Switzerland until yesterday. Turns out he went to a military school in Switzerland and only returned home on holidays. And Mark was actually Evan's twin. So I'd been fooled all this time? The news hit me with the utmost shock. All the suppressed emotions were blurted out with the tears. Evan pulled me in his embrace and listened to every word. I'm sorry my brother must have been messing with you. I'll handle this, I promise. A few days later, Evan asked me to go to the cafe near school to talk about the truth he learned. We stepped inside to see Jody sitting here with her new boyfriend and new best friend. I was about to leave, but Evan pulled me back. Trust me, will you? Then he held my hands and walked me towards them. Upon seeing Evan, Jody couldn't hide her shock. Huh? You look like my boyfriend! Yes, I'm his twin brother. Right, Dee? You know her too? She is our sister. Well, half-sister. We have different last names. Then Evan told everything. But you know what was new? And here is your presentation, Jody. It's my sister who hid it, not Lee. I gave you the chance to come clean, but you refused it. I'm disappointed, Dee. But why blaming me? Because it's always been you. Jody will always choose you just because you're her best friend. How fair is it? I'm also a good swimmer, you know. So at Jody's birthday party, she overheard Mark talking with me. That's when an idea came to her. She asked Mark to help her cause a rift between me and Jody, so that she would replace me to become Jody's partner in the swimming competition. So you ruined our friendship for this? Then Jody ran out of the cafeteria. It felt good that I'd been vindicated, but it hurt that breaking our friendship was so easy. The next few days were not getting any better. Jody was calling nonstop to apologize, but I wasn't ready to listen to her. One day I heard Jody and Mark talking. I apologized for everything. My sister wanted a spot on the team, so I just want to help. But I thought by doing that I could know what your feelings are if there's someone else like me, because from the beginning I already fall for you. I don't know what is real or not real anymore, Mark, but I can't forgive you. At least now. I'm sorry, but whatever happened between us is over. Things were messed up for Jody as well. The next day, I answered the door to see Evan, Mark, and Dee there. We apologize for what happened. We didn't think clear before doing that. I let jealousy take over me. I'm sorry for things going bad between you and Jody. It's no use being mad this time, at least. Everything was settled in some ways. I am really sorry about my messy family. Please, I heard enough sorry these days. So how about that? I should have done this long ago. Do you want to get ice cream together sometime? I thought you'd never ask. And, Lee, I have decided to leave the team. I can't be there after all of this. But how about Jody? I ran to the school gym, knowing the chaos that was going already. Look at this mess you girls have made. How are you supposed to join the competition without a partner? I'm sorry. When the coach left, she jumped into the water and let it take over her. So I joined her. Hey, I can be your partner. Lee? No, I don't deserve it. I was stupid. I burnt our dolls and I threw away our friendship. Yeah, you were pretty stupid. And you hurt me. But it's okay. I'm here because you need me. And regardless of anything, I'm always going to be there when you need me. I'm so sorry. It's okay. We both learned the lessons of being calm before saying anything regretful. And now, let's win this thing. Yes, with you, bestie, I can always win.
In every high school boy's story, there's always a drop-dead gorgeous girl who makes him do stupid things to try to win the girl over, right? Well, my story is pretty much along those lines, except I was competing with a dog. Yeah, you heard me. Here we go. So my name's Liam, and I'm 17. And Suzanne is the girl I was chasing. I remember the first time I laid eyes on her. It was during a football match at school, and she was one of the cheerleaders. Her bouncy blonde locks and her bright blue eyes drove me crazy. And I couldn't take my eyes off her. In other words, I was smitten. So that's when I started my pickup plan. I paid my friend $10 to find out her address and her favorite food. Stalk her much? Well, this was only the beginning. Once I had her address, I walked up to her house holding a strawberry cheesecake with a love letter attached to it. I peeked over the fence and was about to put the cake on the doorstep, ring the doorbell, and run away. But as I was walking towards the door, a dog appeared and jumped towards me. I freaked out and tried to run away, but instead I face planted in the ground and, of course, the cake landed right next to me and the letter flew away. What a disaster. Plus, the damn dog kept biting at my pants. Meanwhile, I was screaming like a little kid. And guess who appeared at that moment? None other than Suzanne. Noticing the cake and the letter with her name on it, she smiled down at me, helped me up, and said she had a first aid kit inside. She said her dog Loki just got excited when he saw new people. And then she kept apologizing, but I told her it was okay. And to be honest, I'd fall down like that every day if it meant I got to be helped up by Suzanne. After that, we started texting, although most of the time she was sending me photos of Loki. Finally, after a few months of texts, I plucked up the courage to ask her out on a proper date, and it was amazing. After dropping her off at her front door, I decided that was the moment to confess my feelings and ask her to be my girlfriend. I was shaking so much that I almost forgot to breathe. But luckily, she told me she liked me too. Then suddenly she grabbed me and planted a big kiss on my cheek. And so I held her and decided to go in for a proper kiss on the lips. But out of nowhere, Loki appeared and leapt on me, and I fell flat on my face. Not again! And this time I was furious. I sat up and I was about to go crazy. But then I noticed Suzanne was laughing. Loki seems to like you, she joked. He's driving me insane, but seeing how happy she was made my anger all gone. I was about to stand up and go in for a kiss again, but Loki kept pulling Suzanne inside. She had no choice but to follow him. So I was left there all alone. Man, what was that dog's problem? After that night, I refused to go to Suzanne's house when we met up. I even told her I thought her dog hated me, and she thought that was hilarious. She then said he was just protective, and then she shared the story of why they adopted him. So when I was 8, my best friend lived next door. His name was Andrew, and Loki was his pet. The three of us were so close, but one day Andrew's parents got divorced, and Andrew moved to Canada with his dad. So he left Loki with me. It's been 9 years since we saw each other. A thought crossed my mind. Maybe Loki hated me because he thought Suzanne was Andrew's girlfriend. No way. He was just a dog, right? And the trouble was never ending. Prom night arrived, and Suzanne was so excited. I made sure I got to her house early and waited her for a while she did her hair and stuff. I told her I'd wait outside, but she insisted I come in. I was dreading seeing Loki, but of course there he was, waiting for me by the couch with a smirk on his face. I mean, come on, since when do dogs smirk? I sat there nervously watching him, but after Suzanne had gone back upstairs, he came over to me with a photo in his mouth. It was Suzanne sitting next to a boy, and Loki was there too. Obviously, it was Andrew in the photo, and they looked so happy together. Why was Loki showing me this? I looked Loki straight in the eyes and said, "Listen up, Loki. Andrew and Suzanne aren't together. Suzanne is my girlfriend, so just leave us alone, okay?" Loki just kept staring at me, then he left. It was clear I'd lost the plot. There I was threatening a dog. After a while, Suzanne came downstairs, and we were about to leave. But I couldn't find my shoes anywhere. After 30 minutes of looking, we still couldn't find them, and by then Suzanne was pretty upset with me. She ran upstairs and locked herself in her room. I didn't know what to do, so I got up to leave barefoot. When I got outside, I noticed Loki smirking again, but I wasn't in the mood to care about him now. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around, and it was Loki with my shoes in his mouth. He dropped them at my feet and then ran off. I couldn't believe it. That stupid dog stole my shoes and ruined our night. I spent the next week texting Suzanne trying to apologize, and eventually she forgave me. But I still hate Loki so much. He was seriously making my life a living nightmare. During the summer, Suzanne was going to Chicago with her parents to visit her aunt, so she asked me to look after Loki for 2 weeks. What? You've got to be kidding me. I had no choice but to agree. If I said no, I'd risk losing Suzanne. So when I went to pick him up, I saw him standing there smirking at me again. It looked like he was saying, "Oh, hey, Liam, are you ready for 2 weeks of hell with me?" The worst part was all the instructions Suzanne had for me about how to take care of her precious Loki. Feed him with organic dog food 3 times a day in his special bowl. Then make sure he gets 2 walks a day, no less than 5 miles each time. And every night at 6 p.m. he needs his bath with his doggy bubble bath. He likes to be massaged behind the ears. And please read him a bedtime story to ensure he has sweet dreams. This had to be some kind of joke. How would I remember all of that? And as expected from day one, it was a total disaster. It was summer vacation. So I wasn't going to bed early. In fact, I was playing video games with my friends all night. So I never managed to wake up at 6 a.m. to feed him. And surely he wouldn't die if he skipped a meal, right? But well, he didn't give me much choice. He leapt onto my bed at 6:30 a.m., licking my face and demanding food. Another time I was going to my friend's house, so obviously I couldn't take him with me. So before leaving I said, "Hey Loki, be a good boy, I'll be back soon." Then I smirked and locked the door. Loki started barking, so I knew he was angry. Well, it served him right. However, when I got home that night, I discovered he'd peed all over my clothes and messed up my entire room. He'd clearly done this to get revenge, and I was fuming. I started yelling at him as I was cleaning up the mess. And that's when I realized that I'd have to take him everywhere with me. Even though he was super annoying, I started to understand why Suzanne loved him. He was smart, affectionate, and I guess it's kind of nice to have company. When I was watching movies alone, he would come over and lay in my lap. When I played video games, I could ask him to bring me snacks. And once I went to the toilet and realized the loo roll was finished, and I shouted, "Loki, can you please get me some loo roll?" And he actually brought me one. A few days later, we were out walking in the park, and I saw some boys playing basketball. I was desperate to join them, so I told Loki to wait for me. But after the match, he was nowhere to be seen. I freaked out and frantically searched the whole park, but it was hopeless. Suzanne would never forgive me if I lost her precious Loki. So the next day I put up some flyers hoping someone had found him. Well, luckily for me, someone called me and said they had found him. I immediately went to get him and waited outside the address they'd given me, which was in a kind of dodgy part of town. While I was waiting, 2 men dressed in black clothes approached me. They looked suspicious, so I tried to step out of the way, but one of them grabbed my arm and said, "Give us your money, otherwise you might get hurt." I started struggling and trying to get away. But this made them even angrier. I freaked out when suddenly I heard a familiar barking. Loki! He was rushing towards us and started biting at the robbers' clothes, pulling them away from me. I was so relieved, and after a while, the robbers ran off, scared half to death. I gave Loki the biggest hug, and he was wagging his tail in delight. Then a woman with a dog came towards us. Turns out she was the person who had called me. She'd been walking her dog Penny in the park when Loki had started following them and wouldn't leave Penny alone. He'd been smitten with her, so Penny's owner didn't know what to do and took Loki home. Eventually she saw the posters, and that's when she'd contacted me. So Loki was as bad as me, chasing a pretty girl. How funny. When we got home, I thanked Loki again for saving me. Then I said, "You know Andrew doesn't live here anymore, right? He's in Canada, which is far away. But listen, I love Suzanne so much, and I know you do too. So we'll take care of her together, okay?" He kept staring at me like he was waiting for something more. So then I said, "Oh, right. Yeah. If you agree, I promise I'll take you to Penny's house to visit her. Deal?" I reached out my hand to shake his, and he legit put his paw in my hand. Okay, done deal. A few days later, Suzanne got back and picked up Loki. And when I told Suzanne everything that had happened, she burst out laughing. After that, our relationship got even better, and we started hanging out with Loki more. Although whenever I wanted to kiss her, I always said to Loki, "Hey bro, look away." And he never once tried to interfere again. Loki and I are on good terms now, as he's in love with Penny as I am with Suzanne. It's true what they say, boys go wild for pretty girls. Hey, Arnie here. I'm a freshman at college, and I guess you could call me a nerd. I mean, I'm fascinated by computers and techie stuff, and I'm majoring in computer science. I'm just a regular guy who would much rather spend my free time on my computer than out partying. I don't really care about my appearance. As I see it, clothes are clothes. So a slouchy t-shirt and jeans will do me. I also suck at socializing. I clam up and just end up talking nonsense. I guess that's why I usually stick to being in my own computer guy bubble. Well, at least I did until I met Camilla. I'd never had a girlfriend before, which, given my awkwardness, was no great surprise. My first meeting with Camilla, well, it didn't go all that well. I was running late for my study group in the library. So I was rushing up the stairs and I bumped straight into Camilla, who was reading a book while walking down the stairs. I watched on horrified as she fell down the stairs. She fractured her ankle, and I felt so guilty and blamed myself for this. After that, I tried being the good guy and helping her out. I offered to carry her bag to class, but she huffed out. "Could you please stay away from me? I don't need your help, okay?" Then she glared at me. Another time I bumped into Camilla while she was sitting on the grass and passionately reading Twilight. So I bought her a signed copy of the second book in the series. She stuck her nose up at me, told me that book was so last decade, then limped off. I guess she was still mad at me for the accident. But then the next time I saw her, she was reading the book I gave her. She giggled, then said to me, "Okay, this is actually a really neat gift, thanks." After that, we started talking more, and I even helped her out with her studying. I'd never met a girl like Camilla before. She was so gentle, girly, and pretty. But like my thing was computers, her thing was books. She adored them, and she always had her head in a book. I admired this about her. A girl who reads as many books as she did must have a beautiful soul. I found myself falling for her, but being the awkward guy I am, I didn't think I stood a chance. Then one time after I'd finished helping her study, she leaned over and kissed me. Trust me, no one was as shocked about this as me. Not long after, we became an official couple, and at first everything was great. However, Camilla gradually became more and more addicted to her reading. She loved romance fiction, from the classics such as Pride and Prejudice, to more modern affairs such as The Fault in Our Stars. She loved them all. There were days she got so caught up in these fictional worlds that she read from night till early next morning, and she even missed college because she was too tired to go. We went to the library a lot to study together. While I studied, she usually stared dreamily out the window, lost in whatever fictional world was currently occupying her mind. And when I'd called her name, she never answered. After she finished each book, she went into this depressive state. It's like she couldn't deal with reality. After she'd finished reading The Notebook, she moaned that I wasn't handsome and attentive like Noah. I tried to ignore her, but then she finished reading the second book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series and shouted at me that Peter not only pampers his girlfriend, but he also plays sports and has a six-pack. She told me I should start working out and stop eating so much chocolate. Okay, so her comment did hurt. I always sucked at sports and was self-conscious about my lanky frame. So I started going to the gym to please Camilla. She seemed happy about this and mentioned something about being proud of having a boyfriend who was good at both studying and sports, just like the handsome guys in romantic fiction. But honestly, I didn't like the gym all that much. My friend was on the basketball team, so I told him I wanted to join. Yeah, I hated it, but Camilla thought it was very impressive. During my first game, she stood at the side of the court and shouted, "Baby, I love you! Come on! I know you can do it, honey!" OMG, talk about cringeworthy. I knew she was very proud seeing me playing basketball, so it made me full of energy and I just longed for scoring. I was so nervous that I accidentally scored in the wrong net. Suddenly, she disappointedly shouted, "Oh no, Edward would never have embarrassed me like that." And that's when all of my teammates turned to me and laughed frantically, which made me really embarrassed. I threw the ball against the playground and walked to her angrily and asked, "Edward? Who's Edward?" Then I stormed off, leaving her there watching me in shock. I was so sick of being compared with some handsome guy in her fictional world, and sporty things were not an exception. I couldn't take it anymore. The more I participated in sporty things, the more I realized how much I hated them. I pined for computer algorithms. I wasn't a jock, no. I was the nerd who got a thrill from staying up all night writing code. That weekend, probably she wanted to make it up, so she asked me to go to the cinema to see some romance film. I was a bit cooled off, so I agreed. I showed up outside her place to pick her up, and my phone beeped. It was Camilla, telling me she'd be reading all day, now she was too tired to go. Besides, she'd reached the climax of her book and it was too compelling to put down. I was furious. I stormed back to my place. It felt like Camilla preferred these make-believe guys to me, her actual boyfriend. The next morning, I was still pretty mad. When I explained to Camilla how I felt, she started crying. Then she told me it was my fault for not caring about her last night, as she said she was tired. She wanted a hunk to bring her food, pamper her, and look after her. I couldn't believe what she was saying. Just because I wasn't as dashing as some fictional character guy didn't mean I didn't look after her. How dare she even say otherwise? I know this was crazy, but the problem is I really do love Camilla. So I came to the conclusion that if she wanted some perfect guy, I could be him, right? That evening, after a long day with loads of studying to do, I was about to take a bath and Camilla texted me, "Bae, I want to eat spaghetti, but it's raining outside." So even though I was tired, I rushed up to buy it for her and brought it to her place. You should have seen her face. She was extremely happy. Seeing her happy made my heart melt. Everything was good, but I ended up being sick. Blech. The next day, Camilla came to my place to look after me. She made me soup and helped me eat it. I ended up falling asleep, and when I woke up, she'd gone. I didn't think that much of this at the time, but then 3 days later, she still hadn't responded to any of my calls or messages. Finally, she answered my call and told me the reason why she was mad. Turns out she imagined herself as the main character in the romantic fiction book she just read. In that story, when the handsome guy got sick and his lover came to visit him, that's when she was feeding him, he kissed her. So she expected me to do the same, only I fell asleep instead. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This was crazy. How could she expect me to be romantic when I was trying my hardest not to throw up? We arranged to meet at a cafe. There I told her how I felt. I just can't do this anymore. I can't be some sporty, handsome, sword-fighting charmer. I'm just a regular geeky me. Accept me for me or it's over." She apologized and began crying. She told me she just got so carried away with the scenarios in her books that she'd try her hardest to be a better girlfriend. A week passed by and Camilla seemed a little better. Then one time when we were outside the college, she pointed over at this sophomore guy and told me she was going to allow him to pursue her because in most romantic fiction books, the main female character usually had two guys competing for her. If I could beat this Zach guy off, then it proves I love her. If not, it must mean I never loved her in the first place. What? I stared at her open-mouthed. She'd definitely gone too far this time. I told Camilla I wasn't playing her dumb games anymore, then I stormed off. The next day I saw her talking to that Zach guy. Whatever he was saying to her was making her laugh, and she was twirling her hair around her finger and giggling. Great. Not only was this guy good-looking, but he was charming too. He resembled a gallant hero, while I was more like the villain. The problem is, I still love Camilla. How can I get her to realize that romance fiction fever is just that, fiction? Even though I might not be some handsome hero who leaves flower petal trails all over the house, I'm still a good guy who just wants to look after her. Hi, it's Arnie here again, just your regular computer-loving nerd. I've come back to tell you more about my story. Here's a quick refresher. I love my girlfriend Camilla, but she's addicted to romantic fiction. At times, it's like she even thinks she lives in one of those novels, which has led to plenty of awkward situations. Then one day she took it too far when she told me she was letting this handsome guy called Zach pursue her. Apparently, if I loved her, I'd fight for her and win her heart, just like the characters in her book did. I ignored Camilla for a full week after that. Then I walked past the basketball court and saw her there. She was watching Zach play, and she cheered and whooped when he scored. My heart flipped. Zach was so handsome, while I was some lanky nerd with messy hair, dowdy clothes, and a bloated belly. I was definitely the underdog in this competition. Feeling discouraged and missing Camilla a lot, I confided in my sister Paula. I guess I expected her to take my side, but instead, she advised me to stand up and take action. If I wanted to get Camilla out of her virtual world, then firstly, I'd have to step into her world to get her back. Paula told me that all girls love romantic fiction, and that Camilla loves them even more than most. So I should discover why she loves them so much by reading some myself. Then I could understand her and help her. Okay, so I guess Paula's plan made sense. But seriously, I was a computer guy, and now I was expected to read soppy books? Still, I'd do whatever it took to win back the heart of Camilla, as I truly do love her. Camilla had left some of her books at mine, so I started reading them. I'm a logical guy, so it didn't take me long to figure out the general format of these books. So I decided to learn from them in order to defeat Zach and win Camilla's heart back. So I derived a plan. The first lesson from these books seemed to be always love yourself first and love will come after. Okay, so maybe I was a bit scruffy. I guess I didn't resemble a guy who loved himself. So I went to the hairdressers, and instead of instructing them to do my usual short all over please cut, this time I asked them to give me more of a suitable and trendy style. Next, I asked Paula to come shopping with me, and she picked out some smart-looking jeans and a couple of nice polo shirts. Now, who said nerds couldn't have style? Finally, I faced my nemesis. Sports. Ugh. If I knew I wanted to have a well-built body, like Zach, then I needed to get fit. So I hit the gym and started jogging. For the first few weeks, I was a sweaty mess. But then I improved and actually found myself enjoying running. One time I was jogging through the park when I saw Camilla sitting on a bench reading. I jogged on the spot in front of her and said, "Hey." She was so shocked when she looked up and saw me that she dropped her book. As I bent down and picked it up for her, I turned around on purpose so she could check out my newly improved butt. I continued running, then peered back and saw her peering over at me from over her book. Talk about success. Now for the second lesson I learned from the reading soppy novels. The heroine should love a guy who she has this undeniable connection with. So finally, after 3 weeks of no messages or calls, I text her. "Camilla, I'd like to say that I accept your challenge and I'll prove my true love for you." The next day I waited outside of Camilla's class and invited her to lunch. To my annoyance, Zach appeared and invited himself along too. In the canteen, I pulled Camilla's chair out for her and told her I'd go pick out some food for her. "And I'll bring it over," Zach butted in. "How about if we both pick food and Camilla chooses which she wants to eat?" I replied. Needless to say, Camilla looked so excited. Two guys were trying their hardest to impress her. This was a dream to her. I know how much Camilla loves bound salad, so I ordered a massive portion of them for her. And then I also got her a flapjack. While Zach chose some boring chicken fries for her and a massive burger for himself. Camilla looked at both trays of food, then dived straight in for the bound salad. Success again! Although poor Zach looked so disheartened that I even felt sorry for him. Well, almost. Last but not least, the third lesson. Although handsome guys often say cheesy words, that's not the point. What really makes the heroine happy was the feeling of being unique, the only one in someone's heart. Okay, so I have no idea how to say cheesy stuff, but I do truly care about Camilla and think she's a unique and special girl. So I needed to prove this to her, right? I put my plan into action. I showed up outside Camilla's door smartly dressed and holding a massive bouquet of flowers. Camilla appeared and looked flustered as she took the flowers off me. I told her I was taking her to the cinema, but she just blushed and replied, "Sorry, Arnie, I'm meeting Zach there, as I've already arranged to see that movie with him." I felt gutted, but I forced a smile and replied, "Oh, okay, sure. I hope you have a nice time. I'll go with my friend then." But I went home, changed, then went for a jog. Yeah, I know what was happening to me. After that, I felt so frustrated, so I went on my computer for a bit. I couldn't get the thought of Zach and Camilla sharing popcorn and cuddling up together out of my head. I was beginning to think I was wasting my time. And no matter what I did, Camilla would always choose a guy like Zach over me. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Camilla. She was sobbing and asked where I was. She wanted to see me. Without even thinking, I rushed to her place. Before I could even ask her what was up, she ran into my arms and started kissing me. Okay, this was crazy and unexpected, but good. Very, very good. I made her a grilled cheese sandwich, then we cuddled on the couch. She asked me, "You told me that you'd gone to the cinema with your friend. So why could you be here with me?" I looked at her and said, "Yes, that's what I said, but I just wanted to go there with no one but you." She giggled and kissed me. This all seemed so surreal. And I'd worried I'd read so many romantic fiction books that I was now stuck in one. Then she told me that she'd shown up at the cinema only to find Zach wasn't there. So she'd waited for ages. Then he messaged her saying he was at a party and had forgotten to cancel their date. This proved to her that Zach didn't care about her at all. And it dawned on her that she didn't like him either. She loves me, and she had to see me straight away. From then on, Camilla ignored Zach. She apologized to me for all she'd put me through, and told me that lanky or not, she loved me unconditionally. She also promised to try and stay grounded, and to be not quite as dreamy, and to remember to take breaks to eat during her reading splurges. I know she loves fiction, and I would never ask her to stop reading the books she so loves. But I did ask her to limit her reading. Now she reads one book a week. Now things between us are better than ever. She still gets dreamy at times, especially after she's finished her latest book. But we both now realize how much we love each other, and we wouldn't want to be without each other. Besides, whenever she gets in her post-depressive book state, I handle it by being extra romantic toward her. I buy her colorful flowers. I take her on romantic picnics in the park. And I make her breakfast in bed, complete with heart-shaped pancakes. We also reserve one night a month for fantasy date night, where we both pretend to be characters from a romance novel. It's actually great fun, and Camilla loves it. I may be a computer nerd and Camilla a book geek, but that doesn't mean we don't work well together. Prince Charming doesn't have to gallop in on a stallion and have perfect hair. No. Instead, it turns out he can just be a normal, computer-loving nice guy.
It was the princess fair today at my school. Each girl would show up with a parent, both dressed in princess costumes. My dad and I were anxiously waiting when the teacher finally called our names. But when we showed up on stage, there was a brief moment of silence. Then the whole crowd fell into chaos. My dad in a princess dress doesn't seem too friendly, huh? Hi there, my name's Pamela. Are you wondering how we ended up in that situation? Stay tuned, because I'm about to tell you the funniest story ever. I grew up with two loving parents. Mom ran a popular pizzeria in town, while Dad was a professional boxer. But then, Mom passed away in an accident while Dad was away on a tournament. After that, Dad couldn't stop grieving and blamed himself for leaving Mom alone. So he decided to quit boxing to take care of me and the pizzeria. Growing up, Dad would always make sure I didn't miss out on being a girl, but somehow he failed every single time. It's a miracle. Like, when he tried to do my ponytail, he struggled so much I thought he was boxing with my hair. Today was just one of Dad's failed attempts. After the show, we were heading out when we came across Mr. Rocky, Dad's former competitor.
Oh, isn't it Mr. Barkley, our boxing champ? Hi, Rocky. We couldn't believe it when you left the ring. You were a legend, Barkley. But I guess family first, right? Once a famous boxer, now a princess dad? Oh, by the way, this is my son. He's gonna be following in my footsteps. Warrior blood runs in the family, you know?
Hope it doesn't run in the family to be a jerk like you. When we were home, I saw Dad ruminating, probably thinking about the encounter with Rocky. So I lied to him. Dad, I know you've been doing this for me, but all these girly things are not for me anyway. Instead, could you teach me boxing? I want to be a boxer like you. Honest to God, I still love being girly and all, but just seeing how happy he was, I knew I had made the right choice. From then on, I grew up helping Dad run the pizzeria and learned boxing with him. Eventually, Dad got more students. Carson is the oldest and Dad's favorite. He also came to live with us and help with the restaurant. Business soon started picking up thanks to my boxing bros. The customers, especially females, loved them. Soon, we became the hottest pizzeria in town. One time, while running errands for the restaurant, we heard an old lady yelling at someone. "You're stealing my cookies, young man!" But the guy just walked away, leaving the hopeless lady behind. The audacity of him! I immediately charged at him and tackled him to the ground. "Didn't you hear, you thief? Return her cookies now!"
Hey, stop! It's a misunderstanding. I saw her putting the cookies in her bag already.
The old lady immediately checked her bag and her cookies were indeed inside. I awkwardly released the guy, and once he turned around, I was shocked. He looks like an angel walking on earth, even with that annoyed look he was throwing at me. Is this love at first sight? On my way home, I couldn't stop dreaming about him, when suddenly I noticed a moving truck parked at the building next door, and right there was him. He was sweating profoundly, then suddenly took off his shirt, revealing his six-pack. Whoa, it's my lucky day. Later, I asked around and learned that his name is Denzel, and he just moved here with his mother, Michelle. From then on, I couldn't focus on anything else, as pretty boy Denzel and his heavenly abs kept running through my head.
Hey, what's up? What's wrong with you?
Oops, sorry. It's just that I think I have a major crush on our new neighbor, Denzel.
What? For real?
Yeah, but I don't know what to do. Got any advice?
I got plenty, but...
Oh, come on! I'll do anything, please!
Okay. Now listen carefully.
According to Carson, the best way to show my charm is by flexing my muscles. So I set up this new punching bag right in front of the house, waited for him to show up, and used all my might to pound on the thing. Ha! 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 But Denzel was so unimpressed. He just coldly tossed the garbage, then slammed the door shut. Later, I waited till Denzel appeared by his window, then started lifting my desk up with one hand to impress him. Evening yoga. He looked at me as if I was some circus clown and shut the blinds. Bummed out, the next day I went to talk to Carson. Nothing I try works. He just doesn't care.
You sure? It worked every time I wanted to get girls.
But I'm a girl. Ugh, you're messing with me, aren't you?
Gotcha. But what's so interesting about him anyway? You could be with me instead. I can treat you better, Pam.
You're just like a brother to me, Carson. Thanks for your help, by the way. So much for counting on him. But that's not all. The next day, I already caught sight of Carson and the gang cornering Denzel. I immediately dashed in to protect him.
Relax, we're not doing anything. It's just that Denzel wanted this bag for his mommy, but I wanted it for you. How about a fistfight to settle this? Whoever wins gets it? Only fair, right? I got dibs on it, so I see no reason to fight. But if you insist, you can have it. Stop pretending to be so generous. Just say you're scared, wimp. Wah, wah, wah. I don't like fighting.
Then he calmly walked away. I caught up with him around the corner. Hey, don't worry. I got your back. Carson wouldn't be able to touch you.
No need.
You don't think I can protect you? I'm a boxer, just so you know.
You know what I hate the most in this world? Boxers. And by the way, could you move your punching bag elsewhere? It frustrates me every time I see it.
So all my efforts to charm him are for nothing? And what does he have against boxing anyway? The next couple days, I arrived home from school to see what seemed like a heated argument between Dad and Denzel's mom, Michelle. I came to ask what was happening, and turned out Michelle just opened up a new pizzeria right around the corner from my family's. Now she's officially competing with us.
I lost my job in the city, and making pizza is the only job I've ever had.
But why in this town? Why so close to our restaurant?
We actually inherited the land from Denzel's grandmother, and I can't afford to move anywhere else. But trust me, I didn't mean to compete with your dad.
I see.
Why don't you come over for cookies? Denzel told me you're in the same class with him, right?
Denzel mentioned me? It sure feels awkward with Michelle, but if I could be close to Denzel again, why not? Once inside, I was immediately impressed with a house taken care of by a woman's hand. It's a small space, but felt so cozy. Everything was so organized, and look at all these high heels. Wow!
Pamela, I just noticed your hair is so beautiful. Can I style it?
Really? Please do! Dad used to make me wear a beanie all the time because he always messed up my hair. It feels so nice being a girl again. I got home thinking Michelle was pretty nice, and she reminded me of Mom. So I explained to Dad, trying to calm him down. But once Carson whispered something to him, he immediately decided to declare war on Michelle. Ironically, Michelle's pizzeria soon attracted all the customers, since Denzel in a waiter outfit is on the next level. Carson and Dad were furious, and they decided to pull pranks on them, starting with the restaurant's sign. Then they spread rumors online that Michelle didn't wash her hands after using the bathroom and went straight into kneading the dough. Carson even planned with Dad to sneak a rat into Michelle's pizzeria to scare the customers away, but I informed her just in time, so she successfully avoided harm. Meanwhile, the more I hung out with Michelle, the closer we got. We went shopping together, recreated all my favorite dishes Mom used to make, and she even taught me how to do makeup.
Pamela is so pretty, right, Denzel?
Was I hallucinating, or did he just blush? One day I came over to Michelle's restaurant after class, but it wasn't as busy as usual, and Michelle seemed so depressed.
Someone pretended to be me and posted nasty reviews online for your dad's restaurant, and townspeople thought it was me. They decided to cancel on me and call me out for using unfair practices, but I swear I had nothing to do with it.
Feeling uneasy, I ran home to confront Dad. But when I arrived, I saw a sprinting figure in black running away from Carson and Dad.
You thief! Stop right there!
Suddenly, Denzel appeared where the thief was heading. He immediately held Denzel hostage.
Take him down!
But Denzel just stood there frozen. Right then, a motorbike rushed over. The thief quickly pushed Denzel away, jumped onto the bike, and got away. I rushed to check on Denzel, but he seemed annoyed and left.
We could have captured the thief. What a coward.
Denzel froze at those words, but then let go and walked away. Later, I was glad to know the thief didn't steal anything from my house, but Carson started trash-talking Denzel again.
Mr. Barkley, I think Denzel was behind the theft. That was probably why you let them go.
Quit it already! Why do you have to be so suspicious and hateful?
Oh yeah? What about you? Have fun snitching on our plan to Michelle? What? You've been telling them our plans?
I did. So what? Since when did you become so petty, Dad? And the whole fake review kerfuffle? It was you who pretended to be Michelle and gave our restaurant bad reviews, so she got cancelled, right? Dad didn't say a word when Carson jumped in.
You got any proof? Just as I thought. While you were hanging out with those suckers, Mr. Barkley and I did some digging and found out Denzel was Rocky's son, his worst enemy. Can't imagine the boxer's son being such a wimp.
Stop calling him a wimp!
That's enough. Pamela, you have one choice. Stop hanging out with Michelle and that wimpy kid. I will never accept that kind of man.
Too frustrated, I just stormed out of there and went straight to Michelle's. I then unloaded everything to her, and she invited me to stay over till Dad calmed down. Thinking about what Carson said earlier, I asked, "So, is Denzel's dad Mr. Rocky, the boxer?"
Yes, he is. But we got divorced a long time ago. Denzel's been staying with me since.
It suddenly turned awkward and heavy. Denzel just stood up and left.
It's just that Denzel doesn't like talking about his dad. Anyway, I'm gonna head to bed. Make yourself at home, okay?
I then joined Denzel when he suddenly spoke up.
You know why I didn't fight back? That day with Carson at the mall, or even today? You probably think I'm a coward too.
No, that's not what I think of you.
When I was a kid, I used to admire him and even dreamed of becoming a boxer just like him. But then that same man, outside the boxing ring, became a monster to my mom. I put him up on a pedestal, but he made our life miserable. So I swore to myself to never use violence and stopped boxing.
So that was why. He thought the sport itself made people become violent? Surprisingly, after the roof talk, Denzel seemed less distant and even waited for me after class. It was still a little awkward, but just being this close to him was enough to make my heart join Formula One. However, Carson wouldn't stop being an annoying third wheel.
Legend, oh legend, the third wheel legend, always in the way.
He followed us everywhere, and people started calling us the Three Musketeers. Ugh. Meanwhile, the pranks from Carson and Dad were getting more and more serious. Michelle's supply trucks were constantly tampered with and lost all of their ingredients on the way. Michelle was distraught, while Denzel was furious and suggested he go get the ingredients himself. I had enough. So that afternoon, when Dad was still busy at the restaurant, I confronted Carson. It was you all along, wasn't it? Dad couldn't do all that single-handedly. Thanks to you, Denzel will have to carry the supply himself tonight.
Always Denzel, Denzel. Could our conversation be less about that coward and more about you and me? Then maybe I could convince Mr. Barkley to stop.
In your wildest dream, even if you were the only man left on Earth, I'd rather go extinct than date you. There, that should knock some senses into him. But later that day, I got a text from Carson.
If you want to know who's responsible for the sabotage, come to the junkyard. Oh, by the way, Denzel's gonna drive past too, right? Shipping the ingredients and all.
What is he up to? I texted Dad to come with, as this could show him Carson's real face. Then I ran to the junkyard. I arrived to see Carson standing there all by himself.
You were right. It was me all along who faked Michelle's reviews and sabotaged her supply trucks. I tried so hard to get you, but you only had eyes for that stupid Denzel. But in just a moment, you'll see you picked the wrong guy.
What are you doing? He tied me to a car despite my efforts to get free, then went to set up what seemed like a trap. Just then I saw Denzel, carrying goods on a scooter, about to come through. No! Denzel! Don't! He drove straight into the trap, lost control, and fell over.
Oh, boo-hoo! Did it hurt? Too bad. You and I are gonna fight right here, right now. Whoever wins can have Pamela. I already told you, I don't fight. See, Pamela? He's not interested. You're willing to go this far to prove a point? You know what? Challenge accepted.
Oh, no. He just fell and looked like he'd hurt his leg. Carson immediately out Denzel easily. I was screaming when someone appeared next to me. Dad!
Shh. Let's just see. A true boxing spirit will not back down easily.
Just then, we saw Denzel slowly rise up and suddenly gave Carson a knockout. Holy camole! Where did that sudden burst of power come from? I immediately rushed to check on Denzel while Dad went to Carson.
I trusted you, but you dared to do all the dirty deeds behind my back. You don't deserve to be a true boxer. Get out of my sight for good. Now!
Who's the coward now, huh? You said you'd never fight.
My dad makes me think boxing is violent and violence is bad, but it's not. Abusing violence is. It's okay to fight for justice. In this case, fighting for the people I love. Sorry, Denzel. I was wrong for judging you too quickly. You're not a coward at all.
That's right. A man's bravery doesn't just come from his brawn or belligerence, but should come from his spirit. Huh, did I say something wrong?
Wow, never thought you could be this mature.
My dad then went and apologized to Michelle for hurting her business, and suggested they join forces together and open up a new pizzeria. Fortunately, Michelle was cool and agreed. After that, Denzel decided to get back to boxing. And best of all, my dad is teaching us both.
Okay, you two can practice now. I gotta go over to the restaurant to help Michelle.
And you know what else? Denzel and I are finally dating. Ouch, it hurts so bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you... You and your silly antics.
It does hurt. I'm not joking.
Does this help then?
Hi, my name is Happiness. You're impressed with my name, right? My dad gave me that name. And yeah, as you can guess, he put a lot of hopes and dreams in me. I'm now 18 years old, and tomorrow I will fly to Massachusetts to start my college. My parents are preparing a farewell party for me downstairs. I have never left my hometown and been away from my family, so this is such an occasion. As I'm packing my belongings for college, a flood of memories come to mind. You see, when I was a kid, my family was dirt poor. We lived in an old, dilapidated house on the outskirts of Selma in Alabama. I remember we would buy a chicken at the beginning of the month, and my parents would make it last the whole month. I didn't realize we were poor, though. In fact, at that point, I was just a happy, carefree little girl, but that wouldn't last. My mom worked as a cleaner for a rich family, but they treated her terribly, and she barely earned enough money to even take the bus there. My dad was a lorry driver, And so he was away a lot, delivering goods to other states. Every weekend when he came home, I'd stand out on the porch as soon as I saw his big truck driving up the dusty road. I'd run out there and jump up and down. The best part was that he always brought me a little present, like a piece of candy that he'd saved for me, or a small toy. They weren't valuable gifts, but they meant the world to me. One time he came home, and I ran up to him and said, "Daddy, yesterday Jeannie's dad brought her a chocolate egg back from his trip. It even had a toy inside. I want one too." My dad looked confused. Then he said he'd heard of them, and they were called Kinder Eggs. And then, with loving eyes and a smile, he promised he'd find me one, no matter how hard it would be, even if it was the last thing he did. The next weekend, I raced out to the street and could barely contain my excitement as I waited for him to come home. I waited and waited, but still he didn't arrive. I started to get worried, so I asked my mom where he was. She said, "Oh, sweetie, he's on his way. Why don't you go to sleep, and as soon as you wake up, he'll be here." There was no way I could sleep. All I could think about was getting a chocolate egg with a toy inside. I'd almost dozed off when I heard his voice. I ran downstairs and jumped into his arms, hugging him. "I missed you, Daddy," I told him, and he laughed and said, "I missed you too, sweetie pie." Then I said, "Where is it? Did you get me a chocolate egg?" I eagerly asked. Then his face dropped. He said, "Sorry, baby. I was working late, so I didn't have time to buy one. But I promise I'll bring you two next time to make up for it. Okay?" But this wasn't okay. I was so disappointed. I pushed him away from me and burst into tears, saying, You promised me!" I'd never cried like that before over something so small. But at the time, it felt like such a big deal. And my dad looked confused to see me so upset. At that moment, my mom came through and saw me. She immediately understood everything, then started to comfort my dad. "Come on, honey, take a rest. You've worked yourself too hard recently. Come eat. You're so skinny these days." This just made me more annoyed. I was the one who needed comforting, not my dad. So I shouted at my mom, "Mommy, Daddy didn't keep his promise." But my mom just ignored me, and so I stormed back up the stairs, crying all the way. After I'd calmed down, my mom came to my room and said, "Happiness, your dad works so hard, and you should just be happy that he's home safely. I know he didn't bring you what you wanted, but he will next time, okay? In the meantime, I'll make your favorite cupcakes every day." "Every day? Wow, okay," I said to her. And she really did. She made me cupcakes every day, and I was so happy. After a few days, I said to her, "Mommy, I like you more than Daddy. I don't even love him anymore because he broke his promise." My mom just looked at me and said, "Oh, Happiness, you don't know what you're saying. One day when you grow up, you'll understand that everything your dad does is for you. He loves you so much." The next weekend rolled around, and as usual, I ran outside to wait for my dad. Just like the week before, the sun set and still he was nowhere to be seen. I was about to start crying when I noticed a man running towards our front door. My mom appeared and he said something, and suddenly my mom started panicking. She called out to me and said we had to go to Grandpa's place immediately. I had no idea what was happening, but for the next month, my grandpa took care of me because my parents didn't come home. I missed them so much, and whenever I asked when they were coming to get me, my grandpa just said, "Happiness, they're busy working. Don't you worry. Just stay here and enjoy your time with me." Eventually, I got used to it. Then one morning, Grandpa woke me up early and said it was time to go home. I was so excited that I kept on singing happily. As we pulled up outside our house, my heart started beating faster. I was home! Then a shadow appeared in the doorway, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was my mom and dad, but my dad was in a wheelchair. My mom looked so thin and tired, and my dad had no legs. What had happened? I looked to Grandpa to reassure me, but he looked as nervous as I did. Then in my little voice I said, "Daddy, where are your legs?" He smiled at me, and with his usual loving eyes said, "They got hurt. But hey, what do you think of my wheelchair?" He let me sit on his lap, and Mom pushed us around, and it was so cool. I was way too young to understand what was really going on. All I remember was how many people kept visiting to check on Dad, and that I finally got to try a chocolate egg. That same day, a doctor came to visit, and after he checked on my dad, he came over and patted my head. Then he pulled a chocolate egg out of his bag, and then another one, and another one. 3 chocolate eggs! I couldn't believe it. I was shaking with excitement. The doctor said the gift was from my dad, and that I should thank him. I ran to my dad and said, "Thank you, Daddy." He looked like he was going to cry, and I asked if he was okay, and he just smiled and said, "I'm happy because you're happy. That's all that matters to me." For the first time in my life, I got to try a chocolate egg, and it was the most delicious thing I'd ever tasted. And the best part was that inside there was a toy. After I opened and ate all 3, I just wanted more. I kept asking my dad when I could get more, and he just laughed. And then I thought, maybe if I studied really hard and was a good girl, I'd get some more. So that's what I did. I focused on my study, and one day I won a medal at school for winning a math contest. I was so excited to show my parents and assumed they'd give me a chocolate egg as a reward, but that's not what happened. They congratulated me, but said it wasn't possible for them to get me another chocolate egg. I don't know why, but this made me so angry. I cried, and I even threw my bag at them, and this made my mom super mad. She scolded me so much that I was scared and ran out the house and went to my grandpa's house. I cried and told him everything, and my grandpa said, "Happiness, the reason your mom got so mad is because she is under too much pressure and has to work so hard to look after you. Now, your dad can't work, so she's in charge, and it's a lot for her to deal with." Then he told me what happened to my dad, and it changed my life forever. That day when my dad was out doing his deliveries, he got an opportunity to do some overtime, which he jumped at the chance to do so he could buy me my chocolate eggs. On his way home, he stopped to buy them for me, and then because he was so tired, as he was leaving the store, he got hit by a drunk driver. He was hit so hard he lost both his legs. I couldn't believe it. How could I have been so selfish? If it weren't for me demanding a chocolate egg, my dad would still have his legs. I felt so terrible. And so the next day, when I won some candy for the other math contests, I came home and went to my parents. "Mommy, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I want you to have these. You always do your best to give me the sweetest life, and so I wanted to make yours sweeter too." That probably sounds a bit deep for a 6-year-old to say, right? Well, my grandpa taught me that one. My parents were so moved that they almost cried when they hugged me. And even though I didn't understand it at the time, I do now. And it's so true. It's taken me a while, but now that I'm about to move out, I finally understand the life my parents have given me and how sweet it has been. Through this channel, I'd like to send some words to my parents. Mom, Dad, if you're watching this, I want you to know how much I appreciate everything you've done for me. Now it's my turn to work hard and make you proud. No matter how hard life gets, I'll persevere, just like you both have, because I'm your happiness.
I was sitting in the reception with an ice pack pressed to my head, waiting for my mom to come pick me up. Ugh, that stupid rogue ball during PE! Oh, there she was, glamorous as always. She rushed over and hugged me, checking if I was okay. Then she guided me out of there and along the hallway. A group of teenage boys stopped dead and stared open-mouthed as we walked by. One even wolf whistled. Even my math teacher, who was walking out of his classroom, started readjusting his tie and waved over at us. No, those reactions weren't for me. They were for my mom. She's just too beautiful to ever be fazed by how men act around her. On the way back home, I got a message from my bestie, Minnie. "I bet men would all compete to win a date with your mom. She was like a goddess earlier." I giggled to myself. The thought of a bunch of adult men competing to win my mom's affection amused me. I couldn't understand why my mom was still single. She's gorgeous, successful, and a really kind person. And I guessed she'd enjoy having a man about the place, right? Okay, so Minnie wasn't being serious, but the more I pondered on it, the better the idea became. So I messaged her back. "Tell me more about that contest idea of yours." Then one time, when my mom was away on a business trip, I invited Minnie around. We spent all evening posting about the auditions online and handing flyers out around town. Soon, the applications came flooding in. Oh boy, some were handsome, but some, they were so not. Delete, definitely. We got everything ready to spend hours sifting through all the applicants. Gotta be strict, 'cause the chosen one had to be perfect like Prince Paris to match with a woman like my mom, whose name is actually Helen. Finally, we whittled them down to a top 10 list, and we invited them along to round 1. Fitness is important, right? Well, at least that's what Minnie says. So we set up an assault course at the local park. All the guys showed up, including Mr. Swanson, my gym teacher. Uh-oh, awkward. But hey, I suppose he was good-looking and a physically strong man. Firstly, they had to run a complete lap of the field, as stamina was important. Then they had to lift 120 pounds of weights, equal to my mom's weight. She sure needed a man who could lift her over their shoulder like they do in the movies. OMG. Watching them warming up was hilarious. One man showed up in this Lycra one-piece and started doing jumping jacks, and another guy was doing some weird karate moves. All of them completed the running section. Well, just about. But some of them struggled to lift the weights, including Mr. Swanson, who had turned bright red and was groaning. Minnie and I covered our mouths to hold back our laughs. Farewell, Mr. Swanson. That was for being mean to us in gym class. Finishing round 1, we eliminated 3 men. Too bad, as they were handsome. On to round 2. It's not all about brawn. Brains are important too. That was why Minnie and I spent 2 days noting down all the questions for our Who Wants to Be My Mom's Boyfriend quiz round. My mom deserves a man who knows everything. We set out a row of kid-sized chairs in the backyard. Then we walked along the line and fired questions at them. Suddenly, one man stood up and furiously said to the others, "Why are we letting some kids test us like this?" Then stormed off. Minnie whispered, "Not surprising, really." I saw him scratching his head at the other questions. We then eliminated those with the lowest score, leaving just 5 potentials to go through to round 3. That night, I was about to grab something to eat, and I saw my mom standing in the kitchen. She was back earlier than I thought. She was looking down at the pile of profiles on the table with in and out stamps on them. Confused, she asked me, "Zara, what is the meaning of this?" "Mom, we think you've been lonely for a long time, so Minnie and I are doing a contest to find you a man." I gave my best puppy-eyed look. "Actually, tomorrow is round 3. It'd be perfect if you could join us for the interview. Please?" Mom glared at me and shook her head. But I kept insisting until she sighed and said, "Fine, I'll come." I howled with joy and hugged her. Bring on round 3, the interview stage. Minnie and I asked the questions while Mom, Queen Helen, watched from her throne. The first one, Tyler, waved over at Mom and said, "Helen, do you recognize me?" My mom just smiled politely. Turned out, Tyler had a big crush on my mom since they were both in high school. Then when Minnie asked him to show us his talent, he ignored her and said to Mom, "Oh, Helen, I've never stopped loving you. You remember back then when we—" I shouted out, interrupting him. "Not impressive enough. Next!" The second one stepped in. Simon. Ooh, he was wearing a suit and seemed like a gentleman. "Maybe you don't recognize me," Simon spoke up. My mom's smile disappeared. "I'm Simon, the head of the engineering department in our company." Simon must have had a crush on my mom for a long time, but she sure didn't even know he existed. His talent performance was to help fix 2 faulty computers in my house. Useful, but honestly, it wasn't rocking enough. Plus, him being my mom's colleague was awkward. Duh! As soon as the third one, James, walked in, Mom sat up with a surprise. "Helen, I miss you so much," he sincerely said. Mom immediately motioned me to eliminate him, then got up and went inside. It was revealed that James was her ex-boyfriend from their college days. Okay, creep. Oh well, 2 guys left. The next one was so dreamy. He looked like he belonged in a boy band. Minnie and I clasped hands excitedly.
Hi, I'm Daniel. Nice to meet you, ladies.
Daniel's smile totally melted Minnie and I.
I don't know if you ladies know, but I live on this street.
Seriously? How did I not know a handsome neighbor like this? He then took out his guitar and played a song. OMG, this guy deserves straight A's. But he was only 21 years old. That was way younger than my mom. Andy was the last one of all. Very handsome and sweet. For his talent, he'd make us cupcakes.
These lovely little ones are specially made for you, lovely ladies.
He smiled. Oh, how charming. In the end, Minnie and I sat together and discussed our options. Well, the result was quite obvious. I excitedly announced, "We've made our decision. My new daddy, the chosen Prince Paris to my mom Helen, the champion is Andy!" He looked chuffed and grinned over at my mom. Still, my mom maintained that polite smile and remained silent. Yay! This was great! I finally had a father. Moreover, this one makes awesome food. I couldn't wait for their first date. Eek! Now let me tell you, the date went amazingly. Andy took my mom and I to this fancy restaurant in town. He pulled the chairs out for us, ordered food he thought we'd like, then he started serving us the coolest stories ever. He really is a gentleman. If I had a boyfriend, I would want one like him. After we finished, I crossed the street to buy ice cream and caught them hugging. Perfect! Looked like things went well. Oh, Andy! I could already imagine the life where he was family. That night, Mom sat down next to me while I was texting and watching TV.
Zara, I'm glad to see you had fun these past few days.
I hummed, still texting.
But did it ever cross your mind that what you did was for you and not for me?
Excuse me? I worked hard to make her happy, and she could say that to me? I took my eyes off the phone and stared at her.
Sweetie, you only picked the man you liked the best. It's your choice, not mine. I appreciate what you did, but relationships are not that simple.
I tearfully raised my phone and shook it, saying that I already invited Andy over at the weekend to teach me how to cook. Mom smiled.
No problem. Andy and I already talked and decided to stay friends. So this weekend's plan remains the same.
I lowered my head and apologized to her. Mom was right. I'd picked my favorite without considering her feelings. But yeah, it wasn't all bad, as after that, Andy kept coming over most weekends. Took me to go buy groceries with him, and then cooked for us. He taught me how to cook and bake, and we even chatted about the goofy boys at my school.
Seriously, if that Richard wants a chance with a pretty girl like ours, Zara, then he should be stronger,
Andy said, while his hands were still cooking gracefully. Yeah, Richard. Burn! Speaking of being burnt, ouch! Yes, it was me who had just burnt myself in the oven thinking about all this. Andy rushed over, guided my hand over to the faucet, and ran it under cold water. Oh, geez. He was so caring and thoughtful. Unlike those childish guys my age. Soon it was my sweet 16th. And of course, Andy was the chef for dinner. Mom and Minnie just had to light up the birthday candles. Then, as I watched Andy through the candlelight, I knew I couldn't lie to myself anymore. I was in love with him. I spent days planning for the best confession to him. Only, before I could tell him how I felt, Mom told me,
Andy just called me and said he'd been offered the head chef job in New York. He's leaving next week.
What? No! Why? It was Andy, the first love of my life. That was so unfair. We didn't get any chance to see him until the day he boarded. Mom and I went to the airport to see him off. I couldn't bear watching him go, so I glued my eyes on the floor while he was still excitedly chatting with my mom.
Zara, use what I taught you to take good care of your mother, okay?
Andy winked and patted my head. I couldn't help myself any longer. I burst into tears, hugged him, and sobbed out, Andy, I love you. Please don't go. Don't leave me. I can't live without you. For a moment, the whole airport, including my mom, was stunned. All eyes were on me. Andy immediately pushed me away, clearing his throat, and said,
Zara, you're a lovely, pretty, sweet girl. You will find a suitable boyfriend.
Then he turned to Mom.
Best wishes to you both. Bye, Helen. Bye, Zara.
And I watched him walk away with tears streaming down on my face. Well, it's been 6 months since then, and I eventually realized that my feelings for Andy were just a teenage confusion. I did love him, yes, but it was more like admiring and respecting him as a father figure. Anyway, I do have a new dad now, but it was my beloved Mom's choice. His name is Harris, and he might not be as good a cook as Andy, but he's a nice guy, and he makes her happy. And of course, we still keep in touch with Andy. Both his career and his love life are doing really well in the Big Apple. I've learned my lesson. Life's full of choices, some good and some not so good. But sometimes, however much we want to, we can't make choices for other people. Instead, we just have to take a deep breath and let them make their own. High school has started, and it's going pretty well. I'm currently seeing this very cute guy in math class. Guys my age are not that bad, to be honest. Minnie's not so bad on herself either, as she's now dating that musician Daniel and enjoys touring around with him whenever he plays at concerts. What a happily fulfilled ending for everyone, isn't it?
Is it usual for you to sit on strangers the first time you meet them?
This jerk!
I'll show him that he's messing with the wrong girl. It's fine. Please don't hit him. Don't worry. And this is for mugging a kid. No, you got it wrong. He just saved me from those muggers, and he was just teaching me how to fight back at them. Oh my, I thought it was just because the boy's bag was on the ground and that guy was holding his arm like he was about to hit him. I awkwardly stood up, literally screamed out to apologize, then ran straight home. So, as you can see, my home's a little different from the usual. My parents run a nursing home, so I grew up surrounded by the elderly. You were so embarrassed that you left him laying there and ran away? The first time I met my husband, I also knocked him over with my Dolio Chagi. Perhaps this boy is your destiny. Poof! No way, Mrs. Jones. Suddenly, my dad huffed past us. Oh no, I know that look. Something was bad. Lately, our finances haven't been so good. I went after him to check he was okay and found him talking to a man in the yard. On seeing me, the strange man waved me over. Do you know this person? Huh? That was the guy I almost punched earlier. That's right. The person you almost knocked out is my son. I saw everything, so I followed you here. He's got in with a bad crowd and lost focus on his studies. I want you to steer him in the right direction. I don't want to be a babysitter. I'm sorry. It's too bad about this nursing retreat, isn't it? Seems like it'll have to close soon. Although, if swayed, I don't mind being a major sponsor. This was insane. So, all I needed to do was keep an eye on his son, and all the nursing home's problems would be solved? Dad said I didn't have to do it if I didn't want to, but how could I say no? Okay, I'll do it. So, which school am I transferring to? Geez, everything here was so shiny. But if I had a choice, this would be the last school in town I ever wanted to attend. I entered the classroom and walked over to the only empty seat that happened to be at the back. I was about to sit down, then... Ah! Some dude pulled the chair aside and caused me to fall onto my butt. A hand appeared to pull me up, but as I went to grab it, it immediately drew back, leaving me sitting there embarrassed while everyone's laughing at me. Oops, sorry. I guess I should only give a hand when asked, right? Ugh, it was Blake. I quickly regained my cool face, sat down, and put on my headphones, pretending like I didn't hear any of those comments from other students about my rustic look. This girl seems interesting. The usual. $1,000 if you can win her heart in a month. Deal?
Blake glanced at me and sneered at the guy. Easy. Deal. So that's how it's gonna be, is it? Luckily, I hadn't turned my music on yet, hence why I heard the whole conversation. Let me help you get some extra pocket money then, Blake. And it didn't take him long to start implementing his plan. At lunchtime, he enthusiastically led me to the canteen, guided me to get food, and even asked the lunch lady to get me an extra portion of yogurt. Nice try. I was trying to enjoy my lunch when a shrill voice sounded out. Get up and get me some food. I want a cupcake just like yours. Now! Jeez, why did some girls think it was okay to treat guys like this? Frustrated, I went over there, picked up the cake from that boy's tray, and shoved it into her mouth. There, happy now? Poor thing. Your arms must be so broken that you can't get food yourself. Let me feed you then. You're welcome. Are you crazy? You're dead meat today. She raised her hand about to slap me, but I quickly dodged, causing her to fall to the ground. As for me, I calmly sat down next to the boy and had my lunch. Sorry for wasting the cake. You can have my yogurt if you want. He's Kai, my first friend at this new school. He's witty, smart, and has a seriously impressive academic record. He was actually here on scholarship, which explained why he didn't quite fit in, just like me. I noticed how Blake seemed rather annoyed and kept staring at me. I bet he was just fed up with being teased by his friends, since I just totally ignored him. Oh, but he didn't give up that easily. The next morning, he showed up at mine to pick me up, but I'd rather run 2 laps around the schoolyard for being late than share a ride with you. Then at school, he tripped me up and then reached out his hand pretending to help. But between you and the floor, I picked the floor. He even waited for me at the school gates with a huge bouquet of roses, but I just took one look at them, then started coughing. Are you allergic to flowers? Nope. I'm allergic to immature and boring people, like you. Then I walked off. Ugh, as if every girl was gonna fall for these lame tricks. This carried on for the next few weeks, but then one time, he approached me in the library while I was studying with Kai and handed me a necklace. I looked at it, then passed it back to him and turned to talk to Kai. Seriously? You're turning me down for this nerd? Kai's smart, gallant, and sophisticated. Unlike you, all you are is a troublemaker. Are you looking down on me? Oh, finally. I was wondering how much longer would it take for you to figure that out. Not to mention, you've not helped once with the English Lit essay. You're in my group, but you probably just think the Grapes of Wrath is a rock band or something. So, if I can finish that essay on my own, will you go on a date with me? Fine, but it has to score an A, else you can forget it. And my trick worked. Blake actually completed the essay on his own. He's smart, but he's neglectful of his studies, and it's made him make mistakes. On being handed back the essay, Blake's face fell. He got a B, and even though he knew it was over, he still stayed in class to reread the teacher's comments. It seemed like this was the first time he actually put in the effort to do something. What's wrong? Still in denial of your failure? Blake turned away without looking at me. The rich boy who lost the game for the first time looked so cute. So I put a gift with a message in it on Blake's desk. Needless to say, he was over the moon. In it was a set of clothes I'd bought for him, and an invitation to a bar at the weekend. Why, you wonder? Oh, you'll see. That Saturday night, Blake showed up in the outfit I had gifted him, and looked anything but pleased. I can't come in wearing this. It's so old-fashioned. My friends will laugh at me. You invited your friends, too? To prove that you won the bet, right? If you get that $1,000, will I have a share? You already knew it? I was just joking at first, but now... Let's go inside now. Don't worry, we won't be here for long. I dragged him inside, and immediately, his friends didn't miss the opportunity to tease me. Did the fish get hooked? Yes, I'm trapped. Quickly give him $1,000, His family is bankrupt and in dire need of money. Huh? What? You're lying. Look, he's wearing donated clothes. Even his branded clothes have been liquidated. I winked at Blake, and he immediately reacted. Lend me some money. I need a place to stay, a sports car, and pocket money too. At this point, his friends turned nasty and told him he no longer qualified to be in their group. You didn't have to do that. I already knew they only hung out with me for the money. But that's what people are just like. Why would he think that? He must have never been cared for and loved properly. Get rid of that face. This is a date after all. Let me make it up to you. A bar that matches this outfit. So I dragged Blake to our evening party. I told everyone that I brought a friend to lend a hand, and the elderly immediately made him do all sorts of things. Mrs. Hastings asked him to climb the tree to hang the string lights. Mr. Derbyshire called him to chop wood for the campfire, and Mr. Shaw wanted him to taste his homebrewed beer. Then the next second, Blake's already sitting on the drum throne. It's been a long time since we had a young volunteer. That boy seems fine, doesn't he? I saw the way he looked at you. He's not suitable for me. I shrugged in response to her, and suddenly felt disappointed. Yes, I liked this different side to him, but we were still from different worlds. The next morning at school, I still saw Blake hanging out with his greedy friends. Looks like he hadn't learned his lesson. Frustrated that all my efforts were in vain, I swung open my locker. What was this note? Meet me at the library at 6 p.m. when everyone has left. I have a surprise for you. B. I shouldn't be like this, right? Waiting for him at the library for hours until everyone left, nervous and excited. But as soon as the last person left, the lights suddenly went out, and the library door slammed shut. What's happening? Could it be that the note wasn't from Blake? I screamed out of fear. That's right. I may excel at martial arts, but I hate the dark. With a shaking hand, I dialed the phone to call Blake, and then slumped down in fear and sobbed. At that moment, the sound of the door unlocking startled me. As soon as the door opened, I quickly ran to hug Blake. Are you okay? I can't believe Chloe did this. I told you not to get near them. Huh? This wasn't Blake's voice. Freya, are you okay? Oh my god. It was Kai who opened the door to save me. But I thought that... I quickly let go of him, then ran away in embarrassment. That's strange. When I was in danger, the first person I thought of was Blake. Could it be that I really liked him? At that moment, the phone rang. It was my dad. Mrs. Jones had suffered a heart attack and needed surgery immediately. But the surgery cost was so much. Where could we get that money? Ah, yes, Blake's dad. So I called him. Hello, is this Mr. Morris? Blake stopped hanging out with his friends and did his homework. I really need the money now. Please, it's urgent. Are you bringing me out to trade with my dad? My God, it seems like Blake heard all the conversation. So, I'm just your money-making tool? And all this time you've trained me as your pet? It's not like that! We'll talk later. There's no time for your selfish thoughts right now. I gotta go! I ran like crazy to the hospital. My parents were desperate, and the money hadn't arrived yet. So I called Mr. Morris again. You said Blake had changed. If this is the case, then why did he just get fined for speeding and resisting police? Don't ever call me again. Don't worry, Freya. I'll sell the nursing home land to take care of Mrs. Jones. Everyone's agreed to move to the government nursing home. We sold our house, and now we live with Mrs. Jones in a new town. She's so much better now, but I do miss the other elderly people. Also, I miss Blake. I still keep in touch with Kai, and he told me that Blake has gone to some military school like his dad wanted. Well, that's unexpected from him. You should talk to that guy. Not about what you did, but confess your feelings to him. That will save you from regrets later." Then she patted me on the shoulder to comfort me. But I really don't have the courage to do it. I was feeling guilty. "Mrs. Jones, you have a letter." "Freya, look. It's the invitation to a nursing home concert. It's our concert, isn't it?" Trembling, I took the invitation. What is this? I pushed Mrs. Jones's wheelchair to the door of the nursing home named Sunflower. When we walked in, we all burst into tears. Everyone was there. "This is all Blake's doing. He's such a kind boy. He found us and built us a dream nursing home. You and Freya were the surprise gift we prepared for him, but as soon as he saw the two of you, he ran away." Hearing that, I rushed to the gate. A car passed me. My gut told me it was him. I ran after it and shouted in despair, "Blake, wait! I like you! I really like you!" But the car quickly went out of sight. I helplessly slumped down on the street, tears streaming down my face, and I still muttered, "I really do like you." "What are you saying? Say it louder." I turned around startled. It was Blake. He was in his military uniform and smiling at me fondly.